Right now, you are processing visual data, hearing a voice, and following a stream of thoughts. But if you strip away the images, sounds, and internal narrative, who is the silent witness that remains in the background, observing the mind? Ancient Indian philosophy identifies the condition of avidya, or ignorance, as a mistake of identity. It is the habit of assuming you are the physical body or the fluctuating mind, rather than the quiet awareness that tracks their changes. The Mokṣopāya, a text originating in 10th century Kashmir, provides a framework for deconstructing this identity. While later versions were retitled as the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha, the original work serves as a manual for examining the specific mechanics of how we perceive ourselves and the world. The text rests on a metaphysical claim known as atyanta bhava. As highlighted here, it asserts that the perceived world is unreal and that pure consciousness remains unmodified. It posits that the material universe is characterized by absolute non-existence. In this system, consciousness, or chit, is not merely a platform for life. It is presented as the only reality that actually exists, despite the appearance of a physical environment. Following this logic, if the world of objects is a non-entity, then the observer cannot be a byproduct of the world. Instead, the observer becomes the sole occupant of reality. This creates a difficult question. How does a single, formless reality appear as a diverse universe of solid objects and distinct people? The process begins with Ciddākasha, the infinite space of pure consciousness. A spontaneous vibration causes this field to appear as Chittākasha, the localized space of the mind. This mental space further condenses into Bhūtākasha, where consciousness perceives its internal fluctuations as an external, material world. This hallucination is managed by the inner instrument. As defined here, Manas acts as the mind receiving sensations, while Buddhi functions as intellect. The illusion is completed by Ahaṃkāra, the ego sense claiming, I am this body. These are all contained within Chitta, the overall mind field. The text uses the metaphor of Kakataliya, the crow and the coconut. A crow lands on a palm tree at the exact moment a coconut falls. To a witness, the landing caused the fall, but in reality, they are independent, uncaused coincidences. The Mokṣopāya suggests the entire universe arises this way. The inner instrument is simply a configuration of consciousness that has forgotten its own nature through a spontaneous, uncaused cosmic coincidence. This logic, that the world is effectively a dream, parallels the Mahayana Buddhist Yogacara school, which holds that all perception is mind only. But where Buddhism describes a foundational void, the Mokṣopāya maintains the existence of a permanent, self-luminous Atman, or self, as the witness of the illusion. To reach this realization, the mind must overcome specific obstacles described in the Mandukya Karaka, such as vikshepa, or distraction by objects, and laya, the lapse into sleep. This stands in contrast to the dualism of Patanjali's yoga, where the observer and the material world are viewed as two separate, eternally distinct realities. The Mokṣopāya occupies a unique middle ground, combining Brahmanical identity with a form of absolute illusionism that suggests nothing truly exists awareness. In this framework, moksha is defined as the stable realization of being the untouched witness. One remains present in the world, but is no longer identified with the mind's internal weather. In the text, the sage Vāsiṣṭha describes this shift as seeing himself as a ray of light. He realizes that the entire creation was never outside of him. It was always contained within his own body and consciousness. For the wise, the notion of being a doer who controls actions is recognized as fictitious. They participate in the world like an actor in a play, fulfilling their duties while knowing the character is not the self. Thoughts and entire worlds are seen as clouds passing through a clear sky. The clouds eventually vanish, but the sky, the sit, remains eternal. If the world of objects is non-existent, we are left with a final question. How does this formless sky of awareness produce the vivid, realistic sensations of physical life? The observer has been identified. To understand how the illusion is projected, we must look at the mind itself. Join us for our next episode. The Mind Creates the Universe.